Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
Not alcoholic? No. Is a reformed ad man and author of 10 books, including military history, travel, creativity, colonial history, and on expats. So here to talk about his misadventures in Asia is Stu Lloyd.
Good morning, Pattaya City expats. How are we today? Fantastic. So welcome to Learning Australian through drama. So Sean said he didn't have time for his political correctness. That's okay because I'm going to make that up for that. So what we're going to be talking about today is true tales of expat misadventure in Asia. And as I look around the room today, I can feel the misadventure. I can see it written on your faces. So my latest book is called Hardship Posting, True Tales of Expat Misadventure in Asia. It's volume 5. We've been going for 20 years for the series. I'm sure many of you have seen the earlier volumes of it. And I'm very, very appreciative of Ren to give me 10 minutes to be your second speaker today, because I was just happened to be in town. So thank you very much indeed, Ren. Appreciate it. Now, one of the things in the books is we cover all sorts of categories. There's kind of corruption stories and police stories and airline stories and dodgy taxi driver stories, but lots of language stories as well. And when Ren said you've got 10 minutes, it reminded me of an experience I had in Vietnam last year. We were on a media tour bus through the countryside of Vietnam with a very cute, very delightful Vietnamese tour guide. And every couple of hours the bus would stop and she'd say, "Okay everybody, we now have a 10-minute break. Please get out and spread your legs." So as you can imagine, that became the catch cry of the tour. Now, language difficulties, just continuing Sean's theme, we often, obviously have a lot of them. And there was a couple of examples. There was a guy who was a hotel general manager in Papua New Guinea. And on his Monday morning meeting with the team, he got them all together and said, "Oh, what's coming up this week? What do we need to attend to?" One of them was Stephen, one of his team leaders' birthday. So he's got his assistants together and said, "Okay, Tuesday is Stephen's birthday. Can we please get a birthday cake for Stephen? And the message is, happy birthday, Stephen. Ooh, and we need 24 sausage rolls." Okay, so Tuesday comes, everyone's ushered into the boardroom. Stephen's there, everybody sings happy birthday, and the cake comes in with the candles alight. And beautifully iced into the top of the cake is the message, happy birthday, Stephen, and 24 sausage rolls. Another guy in the Philippines had an apartment to rent. It had been rented out for a while, the tenant had left. He thought, well, we better just spruce this up before we pack it, put it back onto the market. So he's gone to inspect the property, had a look around. He said, "You know what?" And the local Filipino tradesman was there. He said, "You know what? This is actually, it's okay, it looks okay. Not much needs to be done to it, but let's just paint everything white." "Yes, sir." Gone off, yeah, you're ahead of me, right? Gone off, come back 3 days later. Sure enough, everything had been painted white. The doors, the windows, the air conditioner, the floor, every damn thing had been painted white. But he said, I couldn't be angry with that poor tradesman because for the first effing time, somebody had actually listened to exactly what I said. Now, a couple of work stories. Corruption. Foreign concept. By the way, do we know what the national flower of Southeast Asia is? Anybody? Any guesses? The national flower of Southeast Asia?
Poppies.
Poppies. That's a good guess.
The lotus.
Lotus, yeah, good guess. Oh, a very good guess. All completely wrong, sorry. No, the national flower of Southeast Asia is actually the swaying palm. But I don't mean the palm tree, I mean the swaying palm. These ones, yeah? Little backhanders, yeah? So, this Aussie guy, representing a major Australian company in Indonesia, had gone up there and for 2 years had had no success whatsoever, no luck at all in landing major government contracts. In desperation, he had met up with the people of the Australian Embassy and said, look, I don't know where we're going wrong here. We've got market-leading products, we've got best practices in place, we believe our pricing is competitive, why are we not being successful in Indonesia? The guy at the embassy took him aside and said, well mate, something you need to understand about Indonesia. Thus prepared, he called for a meeting with the minister ahead of the next tender, went along with a preloaded wallet, stuffed into his trousers. Very cordial meeting with the minister, everything going beautifully, smoothly. Finished the meeting as he got up from the sofa, just let the wallet surreptitiously fall out onto the sofa. Got up, thank you minister, and off he went to his car. As he got to his car, here comes the minister's assistant. Sir, sir, sir. Yes, I think you forgot your wallet. He said, no, that's the minister's wallet. No, sir. This wallet only have 5 million rupiah. Minister's wallet have 10 million rupiah. so at least he now knew the going price. And armed with that knowledge, that information, he started winning some contracts finally. So happy ending to that story. Good. Let's have a couple more work stories to finish off with. There was a guy who was promoted to president of a big international advertising network. Headquarters for Asia was Singapore. He said, no, if you want me as the top guy in this region, I base myself in Bangkok. He won that one. So there he was, based in Bangkok very happily, being paid a Singapore level international salary, living in Bangkok, happy days. Very successful for 18 years, nearing retirement age. They said, I almost used his name, I'm sorry. One of the things about hardship posting, no names, no pactoral, just to protect the guilty. They said, right, better come down to Singapore because we need to negotiate your exit strategy, about your retirement and put a succession plan in place. He said, oh no, I'm not coming down to Singapore for that. He said, why don't you guys come up to Bangkok? And he said, once we've nutted out the contract, he said, I will sign that contract in the same place that I've signed every other contract over the years. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars have all been signed in the Midnight Bar in Soy Cowboy. So that's where I will be signing my retirement contract. So of course now everybody in Singapore needs to be involved in this vital paperwork and the trip to Bangkok. So they all jump on the plane, they come up to Bangkok, into the Midnight Bar. His retirement contract is terms and conditions duly signed. Lots of drinks follow, and a big night ensues. The funny wash-up to this is that the next day, they say, right, now we need to make the announcement. He's retiring after 18 years in the top job. It's a phased-out program of 1 year, during which they're going to scale his working time back to just 2 days a week. So the memo's gone out, announcing the retirement of the Asia president. For the next 12 months, he'll be working 2 days a week. And the outcry from the offices around the world was immediate. It's like, what? In the twilight of his career, in the last year of his great career, they doubled his workload, which was not quite the reaction that he was looking for, but happy nonetheless. And let's finish off with one more story. We can't possibly talk about Expat Misadventure in Asia without a ladyboy story, right? Knowing guffaws from around the room, yes. All right, so this guy was your typical big corporate hotshot from America. Happened to be the chief marketing officer of one of the world's biggest global consumer companies. He had a checkbook which he was in charge of, running into the billions of dollars. But he was a greenhorn to Asia. He had to come to Thailand to meet the team here and also to inspect the factory of his suppliers, which is where our man steps into the picture. So like, okay, so they have all the meetings, run through the budgets, all the quality, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, the guy's like, so, perhaps you can show us some of that famous nightlife from Bangkok. He's like, yeah, okay. So they go to one or two considered quite safe kind of bars. He seems to quite enjoy this. He's getting into the swing of this Asian nightlife thing. And the tempo picks up a little bit. More drinks, more shots, more fun. Eventually you go to this bar and he's getting quite cozy now. The tie is off, the jacket's off, the buttons are a little bit undone. And they notice that he's sort of paired off with this lady in the bar who looks, shall we say, suspiciously attractive. Yeah. Some nervous laughter around the room, yeah. Suspiciously attractive lady. And the local guys have said, I don't like the direction this is going in. Should we tell him? And they're like, well, we better. You gotta tell him. No, you tell him. So eventually one of the guys said, hey, having a good time? Hey, great, I love this Bangkok nightlife. He said, it's not what you think it is. What do you mean? You're just jealous. No, I think maybe that's not the best choice of lady in this establishment. Just because I got the best one. You guys, no. Don't say we didn't warn you. Anyway, cut to breakfast the next morning. Isn't it funny how many great stories are written at the breakfast table the next morning? Cut to breakfast the next morning. Here comes our formerly proud CMO, world conquering the night before, looking just a little bit sheepish this morning. Been on a very steep learning curve, he has. And he slinks into the breakfast area, sits down, looks our man in the eye and says, if anyone hears a goddamn thing about that, I will never, ever buy a single lousy pack of your product again. Our man calmly takes a sip of coffee, looks him in the eye and says, unless you buy every single pack of our lousy goddamn product, everybody in the world will know about this. With the net result that billions of dollars of contracts soon flowed. Folks, I've been Stu Lloyd. Thank you so much indeed. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stu Lloyd.
Yeah. Tell them about the book.
Tell them about the book.
All right. I've got a limited amount of copies of Hardship Posting 5 here. Here is the special for the PCEC. Please listen carefully. My beautiful assistant demonstrating my books here. Sorry, that's all my budget ran to. Yeah. Here's the special deal for PCEC members this morning. You can buy these books at Asia Books for 450 baht. I give you a choice this morning. Unsigned, 450 baht, or signed with my autograph, 300 baht.
What a farm.
Your choice. So unsigned, 450 baht, or signed, 300 baht. So I've got some limited amount of copies at the table here. Be really great to meet more of you folks this morning, have a chat, share some of your stories, and happy to unload a book to you as well. Thanks so much indeed. I'm Stu Lloyd. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you'd just like to step down here, Stu, we have a little plaque for your wall. Oh, well, it's a motorbike as well, isn't it? Because you're going offshore. Thank you.
I came out ahead. I got a certificate, he got a book, I win.
Yes.